Alright, welcome back. Last time, I started a couple wars against Russia. Well, not really. The first time, I attacked the Congo, who are now Syndicalist Republic for some reason, and conquered Ubangishari, which gives me way more copper to work with. Currently putting some effort into doing the extraction thing. Of course, there is a genuine lack of manpower in the area, so that's interesting. And I'm slowly working towards nationalizing the foreign-owned stuff, so in order to ensure that at least a reasonable amount of economic control is local. But yes, there is only so much I can do within a quick period of time, so I'm working on it. Don't worry too much about it. I'm also working on transitioning between coal power and oil power. The problem is that mines use light fuel, which is way more expensive and much harder to obtain. So, yeah, there's some real problems there. Additionally, fascism has arrived on the scene, which is, you know, lovely. And they're liable to take over the bureaucratic interests. Thankfully, the bureaucracy is pretty tiny, at least insofar as Cloud is concerned. So it shouldn't be a problem, at least not there. I am having some issues with taxes though, but I can resolve them relatively easily. It's just going to take some targeted construction. But that is fine. I do wonder where the thing is with the opinion on the repeatable law. Oh yeah, here. Oh, that's why. Okay, subject to security sake. Anyway, okay, let's just get started. The other war is this one, the Nejdi Civil War. Although in theory, well, at least in the original game of, not even original, Victoria 2, they could have formed Saudi Arabia by this point, because Nejd has managed to conquer Hejaz, presumably after Egypt lost control of it. And I'm not too concerned about the mass migration, since that's a fairly common occurrence that has happened multiple times recently. I'm serious. It gets old. But yes, right now the whole game is to wait until Russia loses enough war support to be willing to capitulate. Which probably won't be for a while, so I just have to wait. And also work on building up the amount of government administration in order to increase taxation. Because even if I no longer have, because part of the thing is that I changed my centralization, the change regime Wargle, to devolved. I've changed back to federated in order to lower bureaucracy cost, and it'll help deal with when synergy gets too low. Currently it's decent, but it's probably going to get lower again. Just wait. The only reason why it's so high now is because for some reason the only group that actually has any sort of mandate is the communists, and even then they have 72 synergy, which is not a lot. So, lots and lots of bickering going on. That's fine. It's politics. What else do you expect? Bickering's half the point. Just keep building these up until about half of them are... Okay, I need... I'm just gonna say 11, because... no, 12. Let's just do 12. There. I'll handle Ethiopia later, as well as Ubangishari. Yeah. Technically there's a renewable plant here, but... I'm not mining rare earths just for it. Each one will require even more. Wow. At least they really take very few people. Especially if you get the maximum amount of smart grid energy management. That's down to less than 500 per level. Okay, maybe not less than 500, but 550 per level. For 110 power, that's a lot. Anyway, that might be a reason to start doing advanced ores. I do have a mine or two available, but I'm not sure where they were built. Oh, here's one. So you can't use coal for this. You can't use these unless you have one of the more advanced ones, but... Well, is Arab Saboteur unusually productive? Not particularly, but... Oh, that's due. Using some alloys and steel, as well as aluminum. No plastics. I could really use that. There's still some extraction potential, especially of the natural gas, so try to get more people to come in. So, is the advanced mine? Yes, okay. More people will come in, and as I swap away from using plastics for this sort of glass production, which I don't think I'll be adding new ones, I'll work towards getting alloys properly set up. There, better aluminum production. Where's the glassworks that's still using one of the old methods? There. Amhara. I hope I'm not overdoing it on aluminum use? No. But it is close. It's also the fact that I need to deal with these naval invasions. Okay. I'm going to have trouble dealing with both of them at the same time, especially since my armies aren't exactly well geared for defensive stuff. They're really good on offense, though. Like, amazingly good. So. Undermine suffrage. Yeah, I can't. I just won't be able to pick up enough sways to do more than 0 out, so I can't even do that. Sad. How can I say no to that? Uranium glass. Hmm. Broken event, lovely. Did I actually get another agitator? No, those are all the same agitators as I had before. I recognize them. It's also part of the reason why the fascist movement thing is progressing so fast. Because I've got a fascist agitator. Plus, the reactionary movement is ludicrous, and the fascist movement is ludicrously popular. Lord. Hooray! Let's hope they get very few votes. Jesus, 1.7 million people. Debt slavery. I'm not sure if I can. Yeah, no, there are people that are just gonna straight up back them no matter what. So sorry. Yeah, like that exactly. Are you now? Yeah. And I'm busy fighting off Russia. Now that the ongoing elections are over, things could probably stabilize a bit more. Thankfully, the fascist probably is only a small amount of the vote. 1.3% are even less popular than the conservatives. Supports the Sokoto supremacist movement. Since when was the thing? Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, dude, not happening. Is that still the... No, no longer. But it is the second best government possible. So I think I'll keep it. It gives me a lot of room to maneuver. They're sending more armies in to try to deal with it. Slightly above their naval cap, but... I think they've given up on that, so... And once again, multiple naval invasions. Thanks, Mexico. Perhaps I ought to invade them at some point. I mean, it does seem nice that they're not actually putting everything into it. Russia does seem to be doing that, though. Everything seems to be mobilized on their end. But I think that they don't seem to really try. They don't have the Navy for anything, really. Leave. Oh good, he's merely the authoritarian. The new guy. The bureaucratic interest should slowly fade away under those circumstances. I'll be able to annex Galati soon. There's also the fact that the Philippines are fully occupied, so... I think EU should head over here in order to deal with anything. Naval invasion-wise. When are their ships coming? There. I wanna fight them. Yeah. They're low on org. Supply shortage of 71.5%. That's why their navy's so weak. They have supply issues with their navy. Wait, what's this? They would have called me in anyway. Portugal joins it too. Oh yeah, they do have passage through Tripolitania technically. This bit is kinda cut off. The Dutch East Indies join in, but not actual Dutch. And China joins in. Nice. This is getting a bit ridiculous. Oh, that's Manhattan Project done. Public Works. Everyone loves Public Works. Well, almost everyone. The market liberals don't like this. Well, of course they don't. And blah. Okay. Take control of your market for as long as you need. It won't help with the trouble because you're occupied. I haven't been able to help with that. It's a massive amount of armies amassing right there. Yep, so we're facing off against France, plus the Portuguese and the Dutch East Indies, but not the Netherlands themselves. The Dutch themselves have a lot of battalions, but not nearly as many as the Dutch East Indies. Honestly, they should get their independence at some point. I'm surprised they haven't yet, all things considered. It's only now, apparently it's only now that they've obtained decolonization. It's only going by plus 0.06. Oh, because the East Indies have that. In order to... Okay, I get it now. The Dutch East Indies gets a Liberty Desire reduction. Because it's just so hot. I'm a bit busy, sorry. I can't support world revolution everywhere. No, it's bothering with Oman, and may it stay that way for a while. Yeah, I don't want to have yet another war with Russia. Especially since Mexico is so keen on trying to naval invade right there. Oh, I wasn't paying attention. Okay. Mobilize, defend. Mobilize, defend here. Mobilize, attack. I need to bring out everything I can. At least until Russia's willing to capitulate, which will take another half-ish year. Oh boy, the enemy's attack. That's not fun. Especially since only India has troops there at the moment. Over here, though, I definitely have the advantage. Of course, I'm not the only one attacking, but... Coal's become ludicrously cheap all of a sudden. Yeah. Consumption is down. I won't need to dig up nearly as much of it as before. There we go. Public Works should help lower the amount of welfare payments. Or perhaps not. But it will increase construction speed, which should help with things, especially considering I'm consuming certain resources like, well, explosives for the military. I could try to start moving plastics use to other locations. Problem is that for the moment there's not many needs for it. The biggest use of it is glassworks, which I'm working my way towards weaning off of by producing aluminum instead. Electronic components are still pretty bad. There's just way too many alloys produced at the moment. I need to start digging more bauxite. Too. I'll stick with that pump for now. Fuel is too expensive. And I need it in order to get lead and iron. Though my lead usage is going down. Which is good. I've already got data optimization in place. Get me more tech. Oh yeah, that's right, I can use plastics with telephones. Let's research that next, and also synthetic rubber to get more rubber. Fascist movement. Why are there so many of you? Oh, unemployment. Look, I'm working on it, okay? Could you just capitulate already, Russia? The war's over, as far as I'm concerned. I wonder what the population here is. Okay, yeah. I mean, it's not a big deal. I can bring it under control, after all. A lot of livestock ranches. Yeah. And that massive arts academy. Now, that is televisions. Yeah, that's definitely televisions. Thank you. Demobilize you. And demobilize you. I don't need that many defensive armies. I am willing to send you on the offensive, though. That's the power of selecting all the mobilization options. Well, not all of them, but a lot of them. And that should allow me to start using plastic in other places too. I mean, paper hasn't been an issue yet, but it might become one in the future. And it does lower my reliance on wood. Which I'm running into issues on producing enough of? Huh? Since when was that a thing? Well, I can always swap over to electric sawmills here. It's weird not producing enough wood. Usually after a certain point, you stop needing so much of it. Right, right. I should wait on that one until it's done. Okay, we have control over all French war goals against France, which is to conquer Niger and conquer Iraq. There are also a bunch of transfers against the Dutch East Indies that haven't been done yet. The Dutch East Indies does have a lot of ships, though. 96 flotillas. And they're not a mix of ships. I might be able to win against them, but I'm not sure. Okay. Right, it's your turn now. And there's also the issue, the potential issue of Portuguese ships. The French also have a fairly large amount of ships too. Again, it's a rather eclectic mix. So it's definitely better than the Dutch just set up, from what I can see. But yes, we pretty obviously won this section, so. I'll grab this offensive army and send them over to here. That should be enough to get Macau occupied and resolve the issue there. Oh, gee. Oh, might you actually be up for a normalization of relations, Japan? Oh, the Hindustanis are into Benin. Yes, I'm thoroughly annoyed at the amount of steel mills that have been built. Build more alloy plants, specifically the aluminum ones. Fair. I don't care about them. And most of the people supporting the fascist movement are largely in favor of the government. Movements that make no sense sometimes. Give it a minute. It wants a minute. Looks like they're on their way to becoming independent. Liberia's independent. I might annex them at some point, but they're a bit too far away for that. Well, maybe not a bit too far away for that. I'm a bit too busy for that. Okay, these three states could use one, as well as this one. Yep. The telephone switchboards are so good that they're actually... It's actually reasonable to build those just to deal with taxation capacity issues. Both of you should stick to the North Africa HQ, because it does seem like there's going to be multiple naval invasions that I need to deal with. Yeah, the invasion's not being stalled. 2 weak fleets. 6 of them. Yep. Once I control some boss, it stops being an issue. There'll be 3 more of the war goals in total. And should almost finish that up. The armies are here, it's the navies that are taking their sweet time. Fine. I don't care. I can't reach you, sorry. Does the game crash? Come on! Alright, back to the drawing board. Okay, let's see here. What's the current status of things? Right. If I remember correctly, bioethics, yeah. Bioethics and LGBTQ rights are rather annoying in how they're set up with when it comes to the extreme progressists. I'm not going to be able to go all the way until more socialists move from moderate to extreme. At least with the LGBTQ rights. Bioethics is a bit easier, but sort of thing requires neo-feminism or counterculture, both of which are tier 7. This requires transnational activism, which is tier 8. Okay, that was weird. So it did save it, but it messed up the army orders. I do remember it being August 1st when it crashed, so... Which is very, very strange. Non-anarchist socialist interest groups would be inclined to support laws that ban non-socialist parties. Even the communists are against this. I can't actually do this. Yeah, that's not happening either. So it's tax capacity. Good everywhere except for the state that's currently incorporating, which is going to take another year to finish. But I'm willing to build 5. Is it 5? Yeah, 5 government admins here. So I can actually sustain this number without it being problematic. For now. For now. I'm also slicing and dicing my way through Borneo. It's gonna take a while until it gets to the point where all of that is handled. Ooh, another company slot. Good. Now the question is, which do I want more? Oil or metals? In theory, I can do the music syndicate, but why would I do that? Probably oil. How many more production methods are left to improve oil production? Though then again, I am actually doing decent when it comes to oil production for the moment. However, there are few opportunities to improve metal production. Thermal cracking is tier 6. And advanced mining is tier 8. When's the next oil one? Is it also advanced? Oh no, it's horizontal drilling, which is tier 7. On the other hand, the Trucrial states and whatnot, there's huge amounts of oil over here. Assuming I do end up managing to integrate them, I won't have any problems when it comes to oil quantity. There's just so much of it. Metal, on the other hand, is going to take a while. In fact, if I conquer Niger, there's 50 oil rigs here, which will make it so that that's never a problem again in the future. There's also lead here. So, but no iron. It's going to be some time before I find another source of iron anywhere. It's just not around. So, yep, it's the metals company. It cannot be anything else. Actually, I think you guys can handle that. I think it's time to... I needed a yoga kurta. Because that's the last one. Yeah. Transfer Sambas. Yeah. All the other war goals over here are dealt with. Though that is extremely problematic and someone should do something about that. Sooner rather than later, please. Late 20th century in medicine. Nice. I mean, I think my war support's doing good, right? Yeah. I have not been losing battles. I have not been occupied. Or at least I have not been using many battles. Okay, so in total 32% lost battles, but I don't think I've been losing battles. It's fine. Okay, I need more telecoms production. I can't wait until I get the backlight telephones. Yeah, I think I could just wait on that one. Transistor radios would be nice and useful, but that's tier 7. Which is not happening anytime soon. They're no longer initialized. Why are they even doing things? If I transitioned this to... no. I should swap to high field portal power. I can now also do vacuum distillation if I so choose. Coal liquefaction is also a possibility. Eventually, once I have synthetic fuel unlocked, which is tier 6 tech, but I've got so much coal that it might actually be effective. No, that would use way too much aluminum. I need to build up the amount of aluminum usage slowly. It will also help deal with lead usage somewhat. It still requires lead, but it's something I can work around far more readily than in many other situations. Still the issue of the pharmaceutical industry. It eats up so much. So many resources, and still not nearly enough. Right, it's time to build up the food industries again. Invasion is stalled. They're trying to send 21 troops. That's quite literally unproblematic. And the Dutch East Indies capitulated anyway, so that's no longer a problem. Although China's out. That's fine. All that's left is to just capitulate France. And they'll do so any minute now. What is this? When will you capitulate? Start demobilizing. I'm gonna leave this defensive army active just in case something happens, but the rest I'll demobilize in order to start saving on money. Again, I need to increase taxation capacity in a couple of locations. But that's fine, I can keep building up. Okay, they've reincorporated themselves into my market. The great thing about everyone getting involved in this war, this is basically a great war. There's nothing else about it. Everyone is involved except everyone major is involved except for France. Yeah. I can't think of any real great powers. I thought it may be Spain. Spain considered... No, they're a minor power now. Canada. Is Canada involved? No, Canada's not involved. The Confederacy is. Although I think France has taken something of a hit in the ranking. Well, that gives me the perfect opportunity to do some other stuff. Quite uninvolved from everyone else. If my finances need to, I can also stop constructing. If, as I said, my finances require me to do so. Something I can do, I just don't like doing it. But the move towards houseware, inox aluminum, certainly helping. Incorporate and I'll leave that for the moment. Of course, you don't even build up any power plants, and yet you use advanced production methods. Go back to steam trains for the moment. We don't need that much. frame. Yeah, that's fine. Also, let's take the manual data reporting for that. Spain hates me. Okay. Sweden. I'll leave those to be for the moment. Actually, no. Don't have use for that yet. So much devastation, yeesh. The war did not take that long, did it? And more people migrating in. There's a huge amount of unemployed people here, that's for sure. Okay, maybe wait on most of that. Although, I guess to some degree I don't actually need this. Yeah, I don't really need to swap over. I produce enough telephones, especially considering that literally every one of my telecommunications industry is focused on building radios. Oh, still have a truce with the Congo. 4 months left. Why not? Impact and infamy generated. Next one. Aw. Well, I guess it's... yeah. I'll put a stop to it for the moment. Right. That was a one war against France, and I think I can do it again, so... I'll probably handle that next time, though. I'm still working on production tech for the tier 5 stuff. Since I'm giving it a moment for the tier 5 society tech. After all, there's a lot of stuff to do, so... especially considering everything. Yeah. Ooh, synthetic pesticides. Oh, that uses pharmaceuticals. Oh. I do need more food production. Yeah. I am seriously running into limitations. The fascist movement is surprisingly massive, mainly because apparently unemployed pops are attracted to the fascist movement specifically, which is really bad considering I have about well, anywhere between 10 and 100,000 unemployed people in every state. And I'm trying my best to work on it, but yeah. At the very least, glass is becoming finally cheaper again, now that I've got the houseware inox aluminum production method unlocked. After that, there is houseware muslin, but that's tier 7. Lovely. And it uses plastics again. Oh, come on. Yeah, I'm just gonna stick with this one for a while. Though I must wonder, how's my porcelain production doing? I know one of these has porcelain, but I don't remember which. It's also going to take some time for me to properly integrate Niger. I do have butter boiling on. To go has... I mean, everything has unemployment issues. Okay, it's Dahomey that has it. Trade Center, yeah, okay, I figured. In theory, I can go for quartz glass, but it's a bad idea. There is a potential for uranium glass. I do have the mines for it that I conquered off of France. But I don't have any other uses for uranium, so maybe eventually once I start getting it properly set up. Well, there is just not enough utility for me to really invest into it. Just isn't. It does also leave me with a lot more sulfur mines too, which is great. Although I'm still dealing with infrastructure issues, but those will fade once as the devastation, because this state has ludicrous amounts of it. Sadly, I don't have the authority for a decree because I'm not entirely sure what happened. I think either I went a bit too hard on the company charters, or there was an update that removed some company charters from the tech tree. I don't get any more until international organizations, yeah. Once that gets unlocked. And I'm slightly afraid of touching the social society tree because decolonization is down here. And I can't deal with plus 0.5 weekly labor desire in all subjects. That's just way too much. So I'm going to focus on trying to get as far as I can and annexing the subjects that I have. And I'll avoid creating new ones. I will still try to work my way through what I can. Especially getting rid of the Europeans and their colonies. First, can't wait to get Equatoria, but there's no chance of that until British East Africa actually gets its independence, and well, that seems like a long, long ways away unless I decide to fight the British, which is not an easy feat. I mean, I'm getting more and more confident in the abilities of my own military, especially considering how poor their abilities have become. I might actually manage it. Bear in mind, I have ludicrously high offense when I do mobilize because of the mobilization features I've turned on. Plus 10%, plus 15, plus 10% offense, plus 15 offense, plus 20 offense, plus 5 offense, plus 10% offense, plus 15% offense, plus 10% offense, plus 10% offense. So I'm getting over 50% extra, including as well as all those base buffs. And there's more to come as I unlock more technology. Although I doubt I'm going to use nuclear artillery because that's double devastation. Guided missiles gives another plus 25%, so that is expensive. And there's also supersonic close air support, which just requires 2 more aeroplanes and gives an extra 10% offense compared to the close air support. I'm still going to, again, avoid indirect air support because while that is more occupation, that is more devastation too. The supersonic indirect? Maybe. Helicopter support is actually quite fun. Satellite support's a long way away though, but that's also useful. Whatever AWACS is. Airborne warning and control system. Ah. Tier 8 tech. Yeah, it's well towards the end of the tech tree. Because production tech goes all the way to tier 10. Society tech, yes as well. And military tech only goes to tier 8. AWACS being one of the last ones. Of course, pretty much everything here increases military wages. Yeah. Tier 7 and 8 tech are no joke. They are brutal, but they're also expensive. I think it's to try to convince people to stop having professional army and use conscripts a bit more. Or, you know, just have a small professional army for your needs. I mean, I am devastating everything I come across, so long as they don't attack me too often. And because you can only attack once per state, so long as I have a few armies that can hold on for a little while, I can devastate them just by attacking. Anyway, I have definitely gone on long enough. Yeah, the ending bit got really long. I'll see you again next time. Till then, bye.